Squad Pod. Squad Pod.
Hey everybody, welcome to Squad Pod Sports, where we bring you our thoughts on the latest games and news around the sports world, brought to you by the Journey with the Jays Network. The divisional round has happened. We are moving on to the conference championships for the NFL, and I am super hyped because there's a lot of good teams. Pretty much the best teams that we've been talking about throughout the season are here, so It worked out.
Exactly. For once, we went 4-0 in our picks. We picked all the games correctly.
Look at that. Look at us. Look
it's
at
very
us.
nice to see.
So, we're going to talk about the divisional round, talk about the conference championship predictions, and we'll break that down a little bit. Some of the GM and coach openings and hirings that have happened throughout the league. And, of course, we're going to talk about some NBA news because NBA is in full effect, and some NHL news because that's starting to roll here. And the Flyers are killing it right now. So
very interested in the NHL as far as because you said they're gonna play in those divisions there and play everybody 8 times. So there's a lot of
and it's like you're playing back to back,
you're
playing each team twice in a row every time pretty much. So you get to see speaking of, I think we play Boston here the next 2 times because we just had our last game against the Sabres.
Right.
Yeah, I think we play Boston twice next, so that should be a really good test because Boston's decent as well. So, we'll hop right into the divisional breakdown here. The first game, man, was the Rams and the Packers.
This one very predictable.
Very predictable, went as we expected. Aaron Rodgers is the bad man.
This was also the best defense he was going to play the rest of the way out. And this is what he did to it,
Yeah.
So I don't really, as much as I want to see Tom Brady get to the Super Bowl, I don't know if he can with that defense. I know they picked off Drew Brees 4 times or 3 times, but still,
But yeah, Drew Brees did not look good in that game either. Michael Thomas. We'll get to that game then. But but Aaron Rodgers, man, he's a force to be reckoned with right now. And that Packers D is playing all right too.
This is going to be the first NFC Championship game in Lambeau that he plays.
Yeah.
At
so
home,
and apparently it's supposed to be cold as hell, and apparently they're calling for snow. So we'll see how.
And I don't really want to hear all that bullshit about was Tom Brady going to be able? He didn't just spend 20 years in a city,
New England,
more northerly or however you want to say.
I remember videos every year of you guys practicing in blizzards. I remember.
Belichick would be fining players if they don't show up to practice. If there's 2 feet of snow, he doesn't care. Still show up. We're practicing.
Yeah.
Tom Brady would be fine in the cold weather. It's the rest of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I'm worried about.
Exactly, that don't have that experience really. But Aaron Rodgers, he went 23 of 36 for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Rushing touchdown too.
A rushing touchdown with a nice little pump fake run right in, man. Aaron Rodgers, we talked about before, he's playing the best ball of his career, it seems like.
He is. And he's so relaxed about it.
He really is. I feel like every time you see him step up to the line, because he always takes it down to the last second before he hikes it. I feel like he's like Zach Galifianakis, figuring calculating the defense, reading everything.
You talk about that play he had with Lazard.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Where he looked at him and he's like, Allen. He threw a touchdown. So he just says his name, looks at it, points to the touchdown.
He already knew. He read that defense and knew what was going to happen. But
it's amazing.
Dude.
But the thing that worries me about that is it's like the Madden curse, kind of. The MVP curse. MVPs don't win the Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen.
That's true.
It just doesn't happen. I can't remember the last time it happened.
I can't think of a better man to break that than Aaron Rodgers.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But on top of that though, Aaron Jones, he had 99 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams only had 66 yards and a touchdown, covered by Jalen Ramsey. But
yeah, but that's why. But he
Yeah,
still ended up
exactly.
with
That's what I was going to
six
say is
touchdown.
the Buccaneers don't have a corner like Jalen Ramsey, so you got to
No.
watch out for Devontae. He could easily have over 100 yards and like 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns.
It's gonna be a good game, man.
It's going to be a really good game. But I mean, the Rams, they just didn't look great the whole time. I mean, Jared Goff was still having the thumb issue from having the surgery.
Aaron Donald's dealing with his issues that he was dealing with. He wasn't.
He had like
100%
torn rib cartilage or whatever they were saying, and I mean, he was out there battling. He was getting in
but
fights.
still, that was the best defense he was going to face as far as Rodgers is concerned.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, it should
Yeah.
be smooth sailing for him here on out to win the Super Bowl, man.
You just gotta score. You just gotta get touchdowns.
Makes
That's
me
all
want
he's
to
got to
revisit
do.
our picks.
Yeah.
Let's keep talking though. We can move on to the other ones.
But yeah, I mean the Rams, they just didn't look great. Nobody really expected them to at that point, especially with Jared Goff the way he's been playing, and his status on his hand. But yeah, the Packers just gonna keep rolling. The next game though, a little unexpected, man. The Bills and the Ravens. Man,
Yeah.
we thought this was gonna be an amazing game, but the Bills they were able to hold the Ravens. They just stopped them in their
Dominant.
tracks.
The whole time, and then Lamar getting hurt just didn't help him at all either. At that point,
No.
it was over.
Yeah, at that point it was over. But yeah, they were just stopping them. Not like they couldn't get. They barely got to the red zone. You know.
The Bills are on a crash course with Tom Brady. That's what's happening right now, in front of
That's
our eyes.
the way
and we
it's
don't even.
looking. That's the way it's starting to look. I don't know about Tom Brady, but we'll see.
Think about it.
But yeah,
Think about it.
it could happen, man. It could happen. But Lamar, he only had 162 passing yards and an interception before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And Huntley's just he didn't do well at all. He had one like good rushing, like
He's
he
not
ran.
a playoff quarterback.
No. But Josh Allen, he had 23, 37, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs, he had 100 yards and a touchdown, like every other game that he's played with the Bills.
And they only put up 17 points. They're capable of a lot more than that. So Kansas City is in trouble if Pat Mahomes can't go.
Yeah,
Simple as that. They're
yeah,
in
and
big
that's
trouble.
all. That's all it's gonna come down to.
Yeah. That's all I'm seeing.
But yeah, the Ravens. I mean, Lamar got his playoff win the last week, and then it ended this week. So I mean, they're
It's a
gonna have to go
step
back to the
forward.
drawing board.
Yeah. It's a step forward, though, like the Bills had last year.
Yeah, that's true. The first game here on Sunday, man, the Browns and the Chiefs. What a game! This was a roller coaster.
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep. Well, I
And
mean, the
then
Chiefs
'cause it
were
was-
leading pretty much the whole time, but the
it was
Browns were
that,
keeping
and
up
then
with
I
them.
woke up, and
Yeah.
like I remember, my girl actually woke me up, and I was like, huh. But like on the TV, they're just like the Browns are within 1 score of tying this game, and I'm like, what? Am I like it just was confusing to me because like I said, I fell asleep for their comeback. I wasn't awake for it. I was
Yeah.
passed out. I woke up and they were 5 points behind. I was like, what?
Oh my!
But like,
Yeah.
if she would
But-
wake me up, I probably wouldn't even watched it.
A couple things. It was a roller coaster because I think it was in the second quarter. Pat Mahomes got hit, and I guess he was while he was running, and he tweaked his ankle, and he was limping every play after
remember
that.
that.
So everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what's up with Pat Mahomes?" And he was still slinging it.
And
He was just still being
then-
Pat Mahomes. And then some people call it a dirty play. I don't think it was a dirty play.
No.
He grabbed him, just tackling him. It
Yeah.
just happened. It was a freak football accident. But I mean, I guess he didn't hit his head. I guess it had something with a nerve in his neck that got pinched or
which is
something.
even worse, it seems, because who knows if
Yeah.
people play with that.
But he was out the rest of the game. And what's his name? Was it Chad Henne? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in, man. He did okay. He was doing all right. And just when they needed him, he completed the 4th down play. They threw it to Tyreek Hill. It was like a little screen pass, and they got the first down.
Did
They
you
were
see
able to win
what
the game.
Andy Reid said about going for it, or he's like he got asked about 4th and 1 being a passing down. He's like, since when is 4th and 1 a passing down? He's like, I went to BYU or something like that.
Like
Like,
every down's a passing down.
it's just ridiculous. But it's
Yeah,
funny.
but
It's nice to see
apparently,
Andy
as of right
Reid
now, they're
succeeding
saying
again.
that he's still in concussion protocol, and they're optimistic that he's going to be ready for Sunday. They said they're not worried about the ankle as of right
We'll
now,
see.
but we'll
Yeah, because
see.
they got bigger problems.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to pass the concussion protocol because from what I guess from what I've understand is the way it was tweaked, it can result in like concussion symptoms, and like it can still cause a concussion. You don't necessarily have to hit your head. But I was like, damn,
Right.
Pat Mahomes, and that's like what you're saying. If he doesn't play, this is the Bills' game. The Bills could go to the Super Bowl.
It's the Bills' game to lose at that point. And next, we're talking about the Bills in the Super Bowl against either Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
Yeah, and on the other side, Baker Mayfield, he had 200 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But I mean, they did
Not
all they
terrible.
could, and I think they could have ran the ball a little bit more with Kareem Hunt. He didn't get a touch until like the third quarter.
Still very successful season for them.
Yeah,
at the end of the
exactly.
day. Through
It's
everything they've been
nothing
through.
nothing to like be mad about, nothing to be
Right.
sad about. They had a very successful season. They did kind of mess up whenever dude was running and trying to reach out for the touchdown.
What do you think about that rule?
Fumbled the ball through the end zone. I mean, it's a dumb rule, man. It is
You
a
think
dumb
so?
rule. I think so. But I mean, I think maybe like
I don't think the other team should get I think it should be out at the 20-yard line. Like I heard somebody saying that. If it gets fumbled into the end zone, 20-yard line.
Yeah. I
Because the
agree
way
with
they were
that.
talking about that already makes it the most the worst penalty in the game. There's no 20-yard penalties. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like if you do that, you still keep possession of the ball, but you're back at the 20. Probably like same down or loss of down or something like that, but like giving the ball back because you like they're saying like if you landed at this inch, you would have been fine, but this inch the other team gets the ball.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
I
it's
mean,
just
I
weird.
think the team should keep the ball regardless. I definitely think they should have to like move back at least.
They're gonna adjust that rule, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that was something crazy that people were kind of up in arms about as well. A lot of the fan base.
Oh well.
But I mean, yeah, it's part of the rules, man. That's what
Have something like that every season.
exactly. Always happens in the damn playoffs.
Right. Like, God damn it, what this is the dumbest rule, blah, blah, blah.
Always
and then
happens.
change it in the off season, and then there's fallout from that, and we're just in the cycle.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked like the Browns could have pulled it. I was actually expecting the Browns to pull out a win. I actually predicted on Twitter that they were going to score or kick a field goal. Oh, they were going to score, and then the Chiefs were going to come back and kick a field goal and beat them by like 1 point. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I mean, man, they were able to make that fourth down play because Andy Reid got big balls and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going for it on fourth. We win in this game." We win.
He
in
wasn't
this
even
damn
trying
game.
to take any chances.
No,
he wants
he's
that
like,
third straight AFC championship.
exactly. And I do have some stats on that as well. Where's it at here? Andy Reid. But Andy Reid, man, it's crazy. His story is so crazy. And I look at him, he's just like, I'm just gonna get Super Bowls now.
Yeah,
I've been doing it before.
I'm just gonna
I'm
run
gonna
this
get Super
amazing
Bowls.
team
In
and produce
22
coaches.
years as an NFL head coach, Andy Reid has had only 3 losing seasons.
Damn.
Yeah, that's wild. That blew my mind. Like, holy hell. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs, the big storyline with that is what's going to happen with Patty Mahomes going into this week. But we do
Right.
have one more game to cover here, and that was old Tom Brady, the old man bowl, the Tom Brady and Drew Brees game.
He wasn't gonna lose 3 in a row to the same team in one season. It was like
Not
I
gonna
don't-
happen.
It just was not going to happen. Like hell,
Not gonna
freezing over
happen.
before that happens.
I mean, the
We
Bucks,
both picked the Bucks.
they got out to a slow start, man, for
Yeah.
a while, and then they kind of got cooking in the second half. But Tom
Exactly.
Brady, he ended up with 199 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Um,
A
yeah,
rushing
and
touchdown.
yeah, has the old Tom Brady QB
I
sneak.
think he has 7 on the season or something like that.
And Drew Brees, he only had 134 yards, one
It was kind of
touchdown, and
pathetic.
Jameis Winston 101 for 56 yards and 1 touchdown.
But to be real, like I heard somebody talking about this today as well. They were like, if Taysom Hill wasn't hurt, that would have been him throwing the ball on that play. That was a Taysom
Yeah,
Hill play. So like, good, good job, Jameis. You executed, but like, it
yeah,
wasn't like they were calling on Jameis to make. I don't know. Like, I don't know what his future with that team is. I think he's a
yeah,
starter somewhere, but I don't think it's. I don't know if it's
yeah.
necessarily in New
I
Orleans.
think
We'll
it's
see.
Taysom Hill's team going forward. At
Yeah.
least see how it works.
Right.
Uh, but the Saints just they did not. I mean, even though they had 20 points on the board, they just didn't look good at all that whole
Another
game.
disappointment.
Another
12
disappointment.
and
Michael
4.
Thomas didn't have a single catch this game.
But he was playing apparently really banged up, so
Yeah,
he was trying to
I
make it
did see
through.
that today. That he was playing really banged up. Apparently he wanted to try to go out and win a Super Bowl with Drew because he knew it was going to be his
Yeah.
last year. And I mean, speaking on that, we could talk about Drew Brees a little bit too. I mean, he's had such a crazy career. He had an amazing career, Super Bowl winner,
Mm-hmm.
multiple 5,000 yard seasons. I think he has like the record for the most 5,000 yard seasons in the league. So I mean, it's his career is nothing to laugh at or just look
No.
over. You know, he's had a great
Potential.
career.
He's like considered one of the best ever.
Yeah.
You know, if he had more hardware, then he would be definitely up there. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for damn Tom Brady, you know, winning all them goddamn Super
Tom
Bowls, but
Brady.
it wasn't like Drew Brees was making it to the Super Bowl all the time either.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. He had to compete with like the Packers and the Seahawks and I
and
mean the
even the
49ers at one
Vikings,
point, the
the
Vikings, yeah.
Niners, the
The
Eagles, like
Eagles,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
that's
It
just
is
that's
what
just
it
how
is.
he's like
It sucks that he
the
couldn't get
Peyton
anymore,
Manning
you know.
of the NFC.
Yeah. Kind of. I mean Peyton got 2 though.
True, but he had to switch teams to do it.
That's true. That is true. I mean Aaron Rodgers only has 1 right now, but that could
Yeah.
change, baby. That could change, baby.
I don't know. We'll see what happens
We
there.
will see what happens. But yeah, I mean Drew Brees, he had a great career. It was really cool. I know a lot of people have seen the video and photos of him and Tom Brady out on the field after the game, and like Tom was throwing
the
passes
kids.
to his kids. And I
Yeah.
mean that was just really cool to see, you know, and I mean it was like it's a whole opposite level of like what we talked about before where it was like Wentz and Ertz and Kelsey out on the field together.
Yeah.
It was like where it was like, oh man, seemed very very glum. Like, you know, like a very sad situation. Whereas like with Drew Brees, it's like he knows like he's calling her a
it was
career.
like a
It's very happy.
celebration.
Exactly. It was a very like lighthearted
It
moment.
was
Like
somber, but
it
like
was really
still
cool to
like
see. Yeah, like
you know.
to see that moment of him in the stadium, you know, and especially like chill with Tom Brady. You know, like you got to see his like side of Tom Brady you wouldn't normally see really.
I feel like
guess.
the world was robbed by the fact that this was the first and last playoff game we've had between these two.
Yeah. Oh, we only got a
first and
glimpse, and it
last.
was
We
like
got
in the twilight
one.
of Breeze's career.
Like, thank God we got the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady games, but imagine
Imagine
these.
imagine if we would have had a Super Bowl between Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
Imagine Tom Brady over here gunning it out with Breeze and Aaron Rodgers every year. Shit like that. Like,
Yeah, that would have been
missed
wild. Imagine if this
opportunities.
would have
He's
happened
been
way earlier.
he's been taking the easy road in the AFC for 20 years.
And I mean,
And then just
look at him
letting
though.
the NFC
Comes
beat
over
up
the
on each
NFC, and look, he's going to the conference championship.
He's like LeBron.
I guess so.
You know what I mean? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He just does whatever. Goes to
Yeah.
different teams, still goes to the finals. That's what like, if Tom Brady goes to the fucking Super Bowl, I'm gonna be like genuinely surprised. Like the more and
Yeah.
more, like the closer and closer it gets, the more and more I'm like, this motherfucker might actually do this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can go back all of these every week, every podcast that we've talked about from like the very preseason, like, and hear my tone change on the whole situation in Tampa Bay there. Like,
Yeah.
week by week, my tone has
You
changed
should
on
be
this
like,
Tampa Bay.
fuck Tom Brady. You want to leave? All right, go leave. We'll find out you got Cam. And then like a couple
But,
weeks
like,
ago, it's like, man, I like Tom Brady. I'm rooting for him. It's Tom Brady, man. Go to the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady.
I like to see him in the Super Bowl.
But I don't know, man. I think it would be, I'm like kind of taking a back seat, and like it might be some bias as a Patriots fan, but I feel like as a football fan, I want to see, like, maybe not even want to see. I'm just like, it's a question in my mind. I'm like, can this motherfucker do it? Can he get 7 Super Bowl? Like, I'm just like,
He can.
like it's just wild to me. But
I think he definitely could, man.
it's the toughest matchup of the season here, and it's a team that they already jumped up on earlier this year in Green Bay. They
That's
already
true.
destroyed them earlier.
That is true.
They're one of their 3 losses.
Fool me once, Shay. Well, you fool me twice.
True.
You can't fool me twice.
True.
Not Aaron Rodgers. But we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
kind of break it down here, because
frigid-
we're going to give you our predictions on the conference championship games. We're down to 4 teams, 2 games.
2 games.
2 games. Then the first one is the one that we spoke of, the Buccaneers and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers open up as 3-point favorites on the Buccaneers, and I am taking the Green Bay Packers to take down Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Shit.
I think the Buccaneers' only chance of winning this game is starting off hot, running the ball, making good plays, passing. The past couple games, like, the Bucs are so iffy with me because every other week it just seems like they're a different team. So what team's going to show up against the Packers? I mean, Tom Brady, as we spoke before, he knows how to play in the snow and the cold. But does the Tampa Bay Buccaneers know how to play in the snow and the cold?
For nothing over the last 20 years. He's for nothing.
I don't know, man. I've seen Tom be I wouldn't say outdueled, but I've seen Tom be beaten by Nick Foles. I think Aaron Rodgers can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Devontae Adams and Eric Jones.
I am picking
Lazard.
Tampa Bay.
I figured you would. I figured you would.
Game, I'm not doubting Tom Brady, okay? Because I've been doubting him all season, and look where he's at. He's at the goddamn championship game. I'm like, God damn it. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe if I start rolling with him, that he'll lose. You know? So I don't even. That's a bunch of conflicting emotions in my head. I don't know. But I'm going to pick Tampa Bay to win this game. I think all these wide receivers end up coming on, man. Like, I know that defense for the Packers isn't, like, they're not a bunch of chumps, but they're not, like, the greatest defense we've seen, you know.
Yeah,
so I think Tom Brady should be able to pick them apart. If it's a cold day and there's no wind, that's a different, that's a different atmosphere. So we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly what the weather's looking like.
But I mean, they're apparently it's supposed to be super cold, and they're calling for snow in Green Bay.
I don't think it matters.
Green Bay's also going to have fans, so
but like
I don't know
saying,
that way.
It does matter as far as the rest of the players on that team, like the ones that aren't used to that cold weather. So, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'll take my loss on that if they lose.
So speaking of Tom Brady, Tom Brady's now reached the conference championship game for the 14th time in his 21-year career.
Only missed it 7 times.
Just 14 times in 21 years, been to the conference championship.
That's ridiculous.
Tom Brady versus NFL franchises. Tom Brady is 5th in all-time playoff wins.
Playoff wins? Yeah.
Yeah. Against teams, not just players.
Yeah.
Against teams.
Yeah.
It's the Patriots, the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, Tom Brady.
And then
Tom Brady.
That's what I mean about it. Like, as a football fan, it's so wild to me that if he ends up, if the Buccaneers do win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady will have 7 Super Bowls by himself. It's just
by
wild
himself.
to me. I'm like, the most steady franchise has is 6, and this one man, it's just wild. Like, retire already, god damn it.
Tom Brady now has 32 career playoff wins, double the number of wins of the next closest QB on all-time list, which is Joe Montana with 16.
So it's going to take Pat Mahomes quite a while to catch Tom Brady.
Yeah,
but
Brady
he will
has
be the one to do it.
2 whole seasons worth of playoff wins.
Yep.
I think I do have some more stats here. Tom Brady's going to
entire seasons, bro. Think about that.
And this is the 9th time in the last 10 years that Tom Brady has been in the conference championship. So 9 out of the last 10 years, 14 of the last 21.
The only time he wasn't was last year. Again, because we lost to the Titans. That was the only time. Because think about it. The Patriots were in this game in the championship since 2010. Yeah. Since 2010. Every year. I'm pretty sure. I think it was 9 straight.
Tom Brady is just... He's the GOAT, man.
And then, just like LeBron, he took a playoff off.
43 years old. And just still doing his thing somehow.
He's older than Drew Brees and makes Drew Brees look like he's got Tom Brady by 5 years or something. You know, like it's just wild.
I mean,
maybe everybody should be using the TB12 method. Like he's found the fountain of youth or some shit.
Yeah,
he's got secrets.
I mean, it should be a very good game, regardless. I know we said that about the Bills and the Ravens last week, but this one should be a very good game. I mean, they're both offenses that we know can do some damage.
I'm expecting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it to be somewhat close, but I still got old bad man Aaron Rodgers going out and doing his thing. This is another matchup that we could have been having the whole time: is Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in the playoffs.
That's what I mean.
Like Drew Brees, and I mean, I love me some Aaron Rodgers, and I've been this past couple weeks. I said I'm rolling with the Packers through the playoffs. And I'm not going to stop now. So I'm rolling with them. The next game here got a lot of factors to it. The Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are somehow still 3-point favorites right now.
It's because they expect them to play.
They expect them to play, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
If he doesn't play, it's simple. I think Buffalo wins. If he does,
I think the Chiefs could win.
It's like he's a young Tom Brady where you're just like, if you know he's gonna be there, give him the ball at the end of the game. Give him like Aaron Rodgers, give him the ball at the end of the game. He's gonna win. Josh Allen's up and covered, but it's Pat Mahomes.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And that's where so we got to make a prediction. But I don't know. It's hard to make a prediction when you don't know the status of what Pat Mahomes is right now.
Right.
But I definitely agree with you. If he plays, I pick the Chiefs. But if he doesn't, I definitely have to pick the Bills, man.
I'm picking Buffalo either way.
Go pick Buffalo.
I'm picking Buffalo.
Then I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I'm just gonna go the opposite. I'll pick the Chiefs. Fuck it. I believe Pat Mahomes is like Wolverine. He's gonna be fine. They're gonna let him play.
He is like Wolverine. That's just wild to me.
If he's like on the brink of the protocol, they're gonna be the NFL's. You're fine. Go out, do your thing. Don't worry about it. You'll be all right.
Oh, you want us to move the championship game a week? Okay, we got it.
I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I think when it comes down to, they'll be like, all right, go ahead, Pat. We'll give you an extra like $5 billion, whatever. You can go out and play.
My consensus is, even if Pat Mahomes does play, okay. Even if he does play, I know what I just said about
what condition is he in?
What condition is he in? And that Bills defense they're ball hawks. You know, I know Pat Mahomes don't throw many interceptions, but like a hobbled Pat Mahomes, you know, he's not going to be as mobile. Like they attack.
That's true.
Let Josh Allen kind of get rolling with Diggs. Let Diggs get another 100 yards. Like
it does help that Pat Mahomes does have Tyreek and Kelsey and the gang though that can get open and be some bullies.
Quick plays. Quick. Next thing you know, they score 14 points. Yeah. That's the only iffy thing. But I'm gonna roll with Buffalo.
All right, I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs. If Pat doesn't play, I'll roll with Henny, man. Henny gonna go out there and do his thing. Fuck it. I'm gonna roll with
All right. Anything is possible.
anything is possible.
Remember
Exactly.
that dude that used to say that shit?
I'm gonna roll with that saying on this one. But
Okay.
I'm giving out hope
Those
that Pat
picks.
Mahomes is gonna play.
We'll see.
But yeah, that's the games, man. We're dwelling down here. Next week we'll be talking about our Super Bowl predictions for the next 2 weeks, pretty much.
Ready. Season's gone.
Season gone. So we can kind of touch on what's been going on outside of the teams that are in the playoffs. There's
Mhm.
been a lot of news going on here. Let me go back to the stat. The Broncos finalized a 6-year deal with the Vikings personnel man George Patton to be GM of the team. So Denver has a new
Okay.
team. It has a new GM.
Another dude underneath Elway there.
Yep. The Lions have agreed to terms on a 5-year deal with Rams director of college scouting, Brad Holmes, as their new GM.
Yep. I saw
So
that as well.
apparently,
I mean,
he's very
it's
well liked. Apparently, they're really
front office
optimistic about him.
moves that we'll really see the fruits of in a couple years. That's what you usually don't see too much of those impacts for a couple years until they
Yeah.
start getting fired and blamed for everything.
Yeah, exactly. The Panthers hired their VP of football
This is
operations,
an
Scott
interesting one.
Fitterer, as their new GM.
Mhm.
A late addition to the interview process, he made a quick impression on Carolina's search team. But yeah, I don't really know too much about that dude. You say it's pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I thought you were gonna start talking about the one about the Redskins or Washington.
Oh, the no names. I do have that here
No
somewhere.
names.
Go ahead.
Because he is the former GM on Carolina, so it was just interesting to see him reunite with Rivera there in Washington. I heard you say Carolina, and it
I
jogged my
forgot
memory
about
that. So
Yeah, I did
yeah.
forget about that one. But yeah, that should be because I mean Carolina always had like a decent team. It seemed
made it to
they
the
always
Super
had
Bowl,
like a
man.
decent team. So I mean that should be a good fit.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? The Steelers
What about-
expected to promote QB coach Matt Canada to offensive coordinator because they fired their old coordinator because Big Ben and Mike Tomlin were sick of him. Big Ben was definitely sick of him by the end of the season.
Big Ben just called his own plays.
What were you going to say, Vern? You had something?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
I was just kind of commenting on what you were saying there, like as far as.
Got you. I didn't know if you had something else.
No.
The other one here is the Chargers hired Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley as their next head coach.
Interesting. I didn't see that because that's what I actually before we came on here was who the Chargers hired, but I wanted to get rolling so I could.
Yeah, it was the
out.
Rams defensive coordinator, which the Rams have arguably the best defense in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see that as a head coach, what he can bring to the Chargers.
For the young Herbert, when the defense is really the problem there.
Yeah, so maybe you get that defense turned around. That could be a really good team with that offense. Who knows? The other one here is now New Orleans has been eliminated. The Lions are expected to hire the Saints assistant head coach Dan Campbell as their next head coach.
Yep.
And that pretty much he's PC Principal from South Park. That's the meme going around. Yeah, he looks like PC Principal. He's like jacked, wearing like this like little like button up. He's just missing the sunglasses. He even has like the haircut, bro.
He's gonna come in and talk about how he's not gonna do things like Patricia. He's not gonna come in and call anybody any names.
Apparently, he used to work for the Dolphins as well. He used to be like a coach for the Dolphins at one point.
Okay. Speaking of the Dolphins, apparently Seattle was looking at their old head coach Adam Gase, who's recently fired from New York.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What do you
Seahawks
think
were looking
about
at him as offensive coordinator, and they were also talking to Doug Peterson as well about being an offensive coordinator. So, I mean, either of those two. Yeah, I mean, Adam Gase they were talking to more recently because, I mean, there were reports about Doug taking a year off. But, man, I don't know how a team like the Seahawks, who are like, they definitely disappointed here towards the end of the season. But like, I wouldn't trust Adam Gase with your offensive coordinator job. You
What
know?
about the issues with Jamal Adams on the other side of the ball?
Yeah, but no, but that's
Yep.
like if you wanted to bring Matt Patricia to the Eagles with Darius Slay, like, like
I
that's not
would
gonna
never want
happen.
to do that.
That's not
No,
gonna
so
happen.
like
Like,
it shouldn't happen. It wasn't. I don't think Gase and Adams was as bad as that though.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think Adams still has some years on his deal, a year or two on his deal, so I don't think he can just piece. So I mean, if
Right.
they do that, I'm sure they're gonna consult with him. Possibly, I'm sure Pete Carroll will maybe talk to him about it. But I don't know, man. I mean, even though I don't know if he would really have much contact with him since he'd be an offensive
Right.
coordinator too.
And like I don't think it would be that big, like that hard for them to kind of squash whatever beef they had. Whatever, it was just like him saying this, that saying that. That's it wasn't like I think the slave one was more serious as far as
Yeah,
like the way he
yeah,
felt about the situation.
yeah. I mean, theirs were like getting in like fights, like yelling fights and stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't really like news, but it was a funny quote that I found from the Colts GM Chris Ballard. Pretty much a bunch of fans have been pestering him about possibly drafting a QB, and his exact quote is, "Taking one in the first round will get y'all off my ass for a little bit, but the moment he doesn't play well, I'm getting run out the door. There's a difference between taking one and taking the right one."
Yeah. And he took the right
Um,
one with Andrew Luck. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is all coming on because Phillip Rivers is it's pretty much possibly he's done, possibly going to
Yeah.
go be a head coach at for his kid's high school team.
Cool.
So I mean, yeah, I mean that's really good for him. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to get to coach his kids. But I mean, the Colts, they might be looking for a QB if they don't want to roll with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Set.
There's talks about him getting moved as well. So like we don't even know about his future in India
Yeah,
as it is.
I mean, there could be a lot of QB moves. We thought there were some last year. We could have some more
Right.
this year. And I mean, as far as other coaching news, the Eagles have been literally interviewing anybody that would listen or want to listen to job. I'm interviewing
Anybody
for the Eagles head
in a
coaching
suit.
job. I'm
You
interviewing
got a
next
suit
week
on?
for the Eagles head coach job.
You must be here
Um,
for the Eagles job.
Like, bro, they just like there's been so many people interviewed. They're making jokes about it. Like, they're gonna accidentally end up interviewing Doug Peterson by the end of this again. Or like they're gonna realize after interviewing everybody, they're gonna realize that they shouldn't have fired Doug Peterson.
They're like, oh my
Um,
God, Doug Pearson was our best option right now.
But the Eagles are gonna be interviewing the latest one. They're gonna be interviewing Saints defensive coordinator Dennis Allen tomorrow,
Okay.
for the head coaching job, and he's gonna be the 9th known interview so far.
Damn.
And the others include Joe Brady, Robert Saleh, who's already the head coach of the Jets now. He signed a 5-year
Yeah.
deal. Arthur Smith, Gerard Mayo.
He's signed with the Falcons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he's gone
so
too.
that's another. That's
Gerard
one
Mayo.
I missed. Gerard Mayo, yeah, from New England Patriots.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that. I don't even know if he would be a good coach. I would just love to see Gerard Mayo back in like a prominent role like that.
Yeah,
After seeing
I mean,
him,
I liked him. Deuce Staley, of course. I'll be all right with him. Josh McDaniels. Apparently, the Eagles are really high on Josh McDaniels.
I don't know
I'm not-
how high he is on y'all.
I'm not, bro. His interview lasted 9 hours. Did you see this?
Apparently, he took time out of his day to make sure he had time for y'all.
Apparently, I think it was Sunday. He got there around like 10 a.m. and he didn't leave until like after the last game of that night.
But think
Like,
about
after-
this.
That was the
He's-
longest
he's-
interview by far.
He's
I'm just not
evaluated.
sold. I'm just not sold on
He's not
McDaniel.
sold.
Oh, I know he's not sold, but I'm not
He's
sold on
like,
having him as a head coach.
hmm.
But I mean, I'm not. I expect him not to be sold. We're talking about a dude that accepted a job in Indy, and then halfway there to his interview or to his press conference, he turned around and was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay in New England." Like,
Yep.
this dude, he's the reason Frank Reich left the Eagles. I'm mad at him still.
Yeah.
But he
Stay.
has had a head coaching job before for Denver, and
Yeah, it
did-
was terrible.
It was terrible. I mean,
It went,
And plus,
and then he came
didn't
back.
do that great with you guys this season, but you guys did have limited weapons
He
and
did
everything.
great. What do you mean? I mean, like the offense, like look at what he did with what he did. How
Yeah,
creative things were getting. Man, I think they
that's
did a
true.
great job with
Um,
what they had. We ended up with 15th pick. That means we were middle of the pack.
yeah. But I mean, that's the one that's getting the most heat and the most hype, apparently, because they're very connected. The Eagles are interested. The other one that we've interviewed, Todd Bowles, who is the defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers.
Yep.
We've interviewed him. We've interviewed Dennis Allen and Nick Sirianni. Sirianni? Yep.
Okay.
That's how you pronounce it. So, I mean, they're literally interviewing anybody that will come in and listen. And they also interviewed, I don't know, Nick Sirianni. He was he was hired by Frank Reich, and he also worked with the Chargers with Frank Reich. He's the Colts offensive coordinator as of right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, so it's a Frank Reich protege, pretty much. So, like, come on, let's bring Frank Reich kind of back. But yeah, I mean, and I mean, as far as apparently they requested an interview with Eric Bieniemy as well. I don't know if that's happening as of right now. I haven't seen anything about it happening.
Might have
I know
to
they
wait 3 more weeks.
Well, apparently they're allowing them over Skype or Zoom as
Okay.
of right now. Apparently we put in the request, but I haven't heard anything about it since, so I don't know if it's happening. But I mean, I haven't really heard anything about the Texans job as of right now, because in other news,
Nobody wants it.
nobody wants it, and we haven't really talked about it much, but Deshaun Watson apparently has possibly played his last down as a Houston Texan.
He's
It's like a year after
done.
signing a contract.
It's because he got hoodwinked. We talk about this every week. He got hoodwinked, and we live in an era where they can voice their concerns and be like, look, I'm done. I'm not even trying to play here anymore. Either move me now or you get nothing for me when I leave as a free agent, like type of shit.
That's true. I
Who
mean,
knows
there's a lot of
they're gonna
teams that are
do 'em dirty.
somewhat linked. I mean, the Jets are the one that a lot of people expect because they have the most draft capital they can give up to get for him. And I mean, with a new coaching staff, that could be a really good move, if the Jets were able to scoop him. But I don't know.
That,
he's also been linked to the Dolphins as well if they trade for Tua.
The Jets,
the Bears.
Dolphins, and Bills all being better than the Patriots would be a nightmare. That'd
Right.
be terrible.
Right? Like, as soon as, like, it seems like, because the Bills are already rolling.
Yeah. They're already a Super Bowl team.
Bills are already rolling. I mean, the Jets, if they get Deshaun, they'll have a new coaching staff. They could be on the move. I don't know, man.
The problem is they have to give up so many picks.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, they have them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Deshaun Watson, who knows? This offseason is going to be very interesting with QBs. And apparently there's another report that Jared Goff and Sean McVay may not be on best terms. Apparently there might be some disconnect between them. Apparently they could be thinking about possibly moving on from Goff here in the next couple of years or the next year or so.
I don't see it happening right away, though.
Yeah, I mean, his contract's worse than Wentz's. Like, he's making more than Wentz. It's going to be harder to get rid of him, but apparently they're having some disconnect between each other within the, like,
That's
either
interesting.
game planning or strategy. It's just very interesting how one team, that sort of thing is very magnified, where, like, the Rams, you didn't hear about it until after they exited the playoffs. So, I mean, maybe it's just because they were doing somewhat decent all year, you didn't hear about it. And the Eagles were just turmoil, so that's all why you heard about it the whole time.
They were just like easy. It was like a car crash. It was hard to look away from.
Exactly. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have here as far as NFL news. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have some more here by next week, leading up to this. So we're gonna have 2 weeks of stuff we could talk about between the Super Bowl.
Like a yearly recap.
Yeah, we can do that as well. Yeah, that'd be nice. We can do that the week that we're the Super Bowl week leading up to it. And I mean, if anybody's watching this, we are planning on hopefully doing a something Super Bowl related for the podcast as well. Hopefully a live stream or something like that.
Right.
That'd be
I
really cool
can't
to
wait.
do. I can't wait either. That's going to be really exciting. So look out for that as well. But yeah, we're going to move on here to the NBA because that's in full effect right now. Um, let's take a look. I mean, CJ McCollum, obvious. That's a big blow to
That's a
the
huge
Trailblazers.
blow.
Huge
How
blow to the
long
Trail.
does it say he's going to be out?
I'll have to find it here.
Because that's a team that,
He has a small
when
foot fracture,
when
so it's
fully
gonna be.
healthy, they are so dangerous.
He was gonna miss at least the next 4 weeks.
Damn. Okay, so at least it's not season ending.
No, it's not season ending, but that could put them in a hole if they're not able to kind of get some wins without him.
Right. Right.
But as
Especially
of
on a
right
shortened
now,
season.
as of this week, Boston is the number 1 seed in the East. Lakers
Mhm.
are still the number 1 seed in the West.
Yep.
The Lakers are rolling with 11-4, but they do have the Clippers on their tail at 10-4 right now.
Yeah, but that's how it was last year too. You know,
That's true.
until the end of the season. So like, we'll see what happens going forward.
That's true.
I love the fact that we still got at least 70 games, so there's still going to be a good amount of games played by the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, Boston, they're leading the East with 8-4. The next is
I
Milwaukee.
don't
They're
know
9-5.
how much. Right, I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to hold off Milwaukee, but it's nice to see them off to a good start now.
Yeah, and I mean, the other team to really talk about here is the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, we did have a video about the James Harden trade with Alex that hopefully everybody watched by now. The Nets are rolling. The Nets look
They are.
really good, even without Kyrie.
Are they
Irving.
the team to beat?
It's starting to look like it. I mean, they're as of right now,
if
they're
he's
the 5th
dropping
seed. They have
30
9
point
wins.
triple doubles.
Yeah.
James
I
Harden.
mean, if you look at the standings as of right now, they are the 5th seed, but the 1 through 5 seed are all 8 and 9 wins. So I mean,
yeah,
so they
they're
could
a
easily
fake
become a
fifth
1 seed in like 2 weeks. Not even 2 weeks, like 2 games, pretty much.
Exactly.
So-
And then now they have Kyrie Irving coming back after his hiatus for
His
a couple weeks
hiatus,
now.
he was
Like,
fine.
he will be
but
back. He
did
will be
media today.
ball-headed.
Yeah, and he's been practicing.
It's
so
going to be wild.
yeah, they were winning. I mean, James Harden and KD were both dropping 30 plus for those 2 games they played together. Put Kyrie into the mix, they might be just balling on teams.
They just
Who
beat the
knows?
Bucks. The Lakers actually play the Bucks on Thursday
Yeah,
here.
they
so
beat the
I'm
Bucks
looking
without
forward to that
Kyrie
game.
too. So I mean, if
Yeah.
you just think about it, you lose one of those players, maybe if like during injury, you could still sustain that team without one of those players.
I think they could go to the finals as they are right now without Irving.
Definitely, yeah,
They
I
don't
agree.
have necessarily the crazy depth that other team like a Lakers or a Milwaukee has because they've been
Yeah.
building it over the years.
I think their best
but
shot
the
right
talent-
now, like if they had to go with 2 of them, I would go with KD and James Harden.
Yeah.
Because they just seem like their chemistry is like, because they've played together before too.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean Brooklyn, they're scary right now. I mean Philly was they were looking hot to start the season, but they due to all the COVID that's been hitting the
Yeah.
team, they've been kind of sliding down a little bit. They've been
See
getting
if they
some
can
Ls.
kind of bounce back. That's what it's going to be about. Like, is who can navigate that this year? Because last season, as far as the bubble was concerned, you didn't have to worry about it. It was just
Yeah.
ball. But now you have a
And-
lot more to worry about.
It seems like it's just hitting one like team after another, kind of. I
Yeah.
know the Wizards were dealing with it for a while. I mean, there's been some games that have been postponed.
Mhm.
But I mean, they're trying to get it on track, man. I mean, it's been going all right so far. I
This
mean,
is why
luckily
they
they haven't had to.
released-
Yeah,
This is why they released the half of the season at a time. You know,
Yeah.
because like so they can adjust the second half to whatever happens during this period here. So,
exactly.
this is
That
a
was the
very
best
smart
thing
way
they
to
could have
handle
done.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Like,
I have another note here. What's
Mhm.
wrong with Dallas? Like, leading into like I have some teams that are hot, some teams that are doing not
Yeah.
so hot. You know, but Dallas Mavericks on a 3-game losing streak. Luka isn't. He's got some like nice individual performances, but he isn't playing like.
he had a
Like
triple double
MVP
against the
ball.
Bulls the other night with 30 points at the halftime, and
That's
they ended
amazing.
up
but
still losing to the Bulls.
That's
that-
what I
that-
mean. Like, what's the point if and I'm pretty sure Porzingis is back at this point. So
Yeah.
it's like
So I don't know if it's just like a chemistry thing with getting Porzingis added to the lineup again, or
It's early,
what. But yeah, it's very
but
early. But Dallas, that's definitely a team you need to keep your eye on because they're sliding. What
some
else
other
you got? Because
teams,
you do have a list here.
right? Some other teams that are slouching got Charlotte on a 3-game losing streak after Melo coming out and looking nice at first
Yeah.
there, and Orlando on a 6-game losing streak. So I
Ooh.
don't. They're looking like
And they started
what
out
we
the
kind of
season like
expect out
5
of
and
them.
0 or 6 and 0 too.
They did, and that was surprising.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
we'll
mean they did
see.
have
But as far
Markel
as
Fultz
teams,
get hurt for the season, and he was a
yeah,
big contributor of the team. But yeah, that's not good.
as far as teams that are doing great right now, like you just mentioned, the Clippers on a 4-game winning streak. You got the Nets on a 4-game winning streak. So they were already kind of rolling before James Harden even came out into the scene
Yeah.
here. The Lakers were rolling, but we just lost, so we got knocked out of this.
That was a
But
wild game. We'll talk about that after you're done here.
Memphis on a 5-game winning streak, Utah on a 5-game winning streak. So some teams to watch out for. Getting hot, a little early, obviously, but getting hot at any time is going to be good for your overall record. So
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Golden State, they started out the season really bad, and I mean they turned it around, and now they're 7-6. They got an above 500 record, and they
I'd
just
put
it
them
seems
in the
like they
same boat as
they
Houston.
keep getting a little better.
I think Houston's playing with a chip on their shoulder right now. Like I could see them ended up squeaking into the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I mean, Steph, he's been playing out of his mind recently, especially the game what you were talking about against the Lakers. I think they were down 16 at one point, and they ended up coming back and winning the game. I mean, against the Lakers, that's not an easy task. Yeah.
They were saying this should be a teaching moment for us, like to not let teams hang around like that because this could happen any given night. It's the NBA. This could happen.
LeBron does not want to lose to Steph Curry. Like that is the last thing he wants to do.
He didn't come to the West to lose to Curry before he gets to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Chicago 6-8 right now. They're trying to come back, get to 500. They're on a 2-game winning streak, so hopefully they can keep it rolling. I was impressed they beat the Mavs. The New York Knicks are 7-8. They've been impressing a lot of people.
Surprising, very surprising. Julius Randle.
Yep, Julius Randle. The Hawks are 6-7. I mean, a lot of the East, like towards the bottom, pretty much the 6 and 7, 8 seed. They're all below 500 teams. But I mean, that's the state of the East as of right now.
Typical Eastern Conference.
Typical. It's usually the only like top 5 seeds that matter, or top 4 seeds
that even have a chance.
Very surprising though. The Miami Heat are 5-7. Miami's just not doing well right now.
I think like I was listening to the radio the other day. They were talking about this is a team that their weaknesses and all their problems that we saw in the bubble that we were just like, oh, it's just injuries or it's the bubble, or it's actually showing to be actual problems. Within
it's
the
not just
team
injuries.
itself. It's hard to have a superstar that doesn't score the ball, like Jimmy Butler. Like he might go off for 22 points, 20, 21, 23.
He's not someone that's going to consistently get you 30 a game. He's going to be someone that's going to be he's going to be defending like crazy. He's a great two-way player, but he can get you at least 15 a night, but he's not going to get you 30 a night. I'm impressed. Zach LaVine's
averaging getting 20.
Zach LaVine for the Bulls is averaging 33 a night. Like that, that's balling.
Crazy.
He is balling every night.
You need a consistent output like that, like
Exactly. But I mean, you can't expect that of Jimmy Butler, and I mean, I think they definitely do need another all-star on that team at least.
Yeah.
To compete.
They need a shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, Jimmy's not going to be the number one guy there. He's just not. That's just not who he is.
No.
So, I mean, maybe in this crazy free agency offseason we're going to have this next year, maybe they can attract someone there to play with Jimmy. I don't know who.
I could see it. I could see it. I thought maybe Giannis had a chance to go there before he signed his deal, but like I could definitely see them getting somebody. It's Miami.
Yeah.
And then you got
possible.
Jimmy, you got Eric Spoelstra.
They were
See
just
what
in the
happens.
finals. I think they could definitely attract somebody else.
Absolutely.
But I don't have anything else on the NBA really. So other than that, there really wasn't really crazy news. We kind of did a rundown of the state of the NBA.
Yep.
So I mean,
Got that
pretty much.
NHL.
Yeah. Before we hit the bias bubble here, real quick, talk about some NHL a little bit. I do have the power rankings from week 1. The number 1 team is the Tampa Bay Lightning, the reigning champs.
Of course.
Stanley Cup champions. They're number 1. Number 2 is the Philadelphia Flyers. Number 2
I
in the
knew
power
it. I was like, why does he want to talk about hockey power rankings? Oh, Philly's
Flyers,
probably 1 or 2. That's pretty.
The Vegas Golden Knights, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Washington Capitals are number 5.
So my Bruins ain't anywhere in the top 5 there. Is that because we
Nope.
kept losing? We lost like 2 games in a row.
I'll take a look at the standings here. But another notable game that happened was on January 15th. The Avalanche beat the Blues 8-0, and that was the biggest blowout of the season already. Damn. They beat them 8-0. They put a whomping on them.
Imagine that.
That was a notable game I wanted to talk about there. But the standings as of right now, I mean, we're only a couple games into the season so far. Let's take a look at the league. Tampa Bay, trying to figure out if I want to go by division or the whole league. Let's go by the whole league. Vegas is number 1 because they're undefeated as of right now. They're 3-0.
Still? Okay. Yep. It's only a couple games in.
Yeah, we're into the second week now.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I mean the power rankings were for the first week. We're into the second week now. So the Vegas, they're 3-0 right now. Toronto, they're 3-1. Philly, we're 3-1 now. We lost yesterday pretty bad, but we got it back on track tonight. Washington, 4-2. The New Jersey Devils, 3-2. And I'll pretty much stop there. But Tampa Bay, they slid down to 2-2, the Stanley Cup champs.
Since beginning of the season.
Yeah, so I mean they've lost 2 since then. So that's not very good. Pittsburgh, they've let me see here. Yeah, they're 2-2 as well. Where are your you had an overtime loss. Oh, you had an overtime loss too. You guys are 1-1-1. Oh, so you're like 1-2. I was like trying to figure out how they had this mapped out. So it looks like you're 1-3 as of right now.
Not good.
Which is not good. I thought you guys were doing a little better than that.
Not good.
Not good at all. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys are in it still because you got 3 points. Because hockey does go by points as well. It doesn't go by just the standings of the win-loss record. It goes by points with this point what goals you score as well as assists and stuff like that. So I mean even the Vegas Golden Knights, they only have 3 points. Oh, they have 6 points. Sorry, I was looking in the wrong category. They got 6 points. You guys got 3 points. So I mean, you're only 3 points behind the number 1 team in the league. I mean, you can
super confusing.
It is.
To be honest,
it confuses me sometimes too, especially when I'm looking at how it is on ESPN app. It's very confusing to look at. But I mean, the top 4 teams all have 6 points, so technically they're all tied, even though they're within a game or so out of each other. And it goes by points when it comes to playoff standings. So I mean, like Philly, Toronto, and the Golden Knights, they all have 6 points on the year so far, whereas like the Bruins, they only have 3 as of right now, even though they only have 1 win technically. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, it is a little confusing how they do it. I mean, we're American. I'm learning the game. I'm somewhat new to the game. I've only been following the past couple years. I've been getting a little deeper each year. I've been trying to follow it more this year. Now that we have the podcast rolling.
You as far as hockey goes, man.
But I mean, it's very enjoyable to watch. I've fallen in love with kind of watching it now. So I mean, that's pretty much all it is on the hockey. It's very, very early in the season so far. Yeah. So I mean, it's
only week.
It's like how it was with basketball when we first started talking about basketball. Except there really isn't any news in between, just games. You know, there isn't really much happening in between games as like basketball, where there's like somewhat kind of drama or like storylines going on. There's always drama in the
always
NBA, like
drama.
the Kyrie Irving, the James Harden shit, like all that.
It's always
You don't
drama.
really get the drama with the NHL. It's just like, here's the games.
Here's the games
Here's the
on the
games.
ice
This is what
with
happened.
the
That's
pucks.
it.
In the NBA, it's like Kyrie Irving has been missing for 2 weeks. We don't like
The
shit
most
like
I've
that.
heard
Like,
out of the
always drama.
NHL was this past week was the only thing noteworthy I saw, and it was after I think it was the second win of the Flyers had against the Penguins. I forget who it was, but in a press conference afterward, the one dude named Mike, who's a reporter for the Flyers, asked the one dude a question, and he's like, you know what, I wasn't really going to answer your question because you're going to write whatever the fuck you want anyway. About like, he just like gave him the business, dude. I'll have to find the quote, but I was like, holy hell, what?
That's
Like
hockey players for
he
you
just
right
went
there.
at this reporter. But it was wild. I was not expecting it. But
That's
yeah, I mean
crazy.
that's pretty much hockey. Here it is. Jacob Voracek. And this was during a press conference. I want to see if he's like, it doesn't matter, Mike. You're gonna write fucking shit every time. Wasn't even gonna answer your question. You're such a weasel. It's not even funny. That's what he
my
said,
God.
dude. And the dude that's sitting beside him is just trying not to laugh because he's sitting there talking. Yeah, exactly. He was like, looked at. He's like, what? And this is coming off a win. It's not like they lost or anything. It's coming off a win. And he's like, I wasn't even going to fucking answer your question. You fucking weasel. You got to write whatever fuck you want anyway.
God damn it.
But like, that's the most drama I've seen. Because I was like, that popped up on like a Sports Center page. I was like, oh, Sports Center talk about hockey this early in the season. That's kind of odd. And it was like a clip from, it wasn't even the game. It was a interview after the game. But yeah, I mean, that's hockey as of right now. Very early in the season, lot to happen. But I mean, we'll kind of dive into that a little bit more once football's over, and then it's just hockey and basketball. So we'll have a little bit more to talk about than just basketball going forward. But I mean, there's only one thing left to do. I don't have really any more news, so we can talk about the bias bubbles.
Oh yeah.
So you go ahead.
A couple. I don't have too much, but I do got a couple things.
Yeah, I don't either.
I got obviously Patriots could be looking for a quarterback one way or another, whether we stick with Studham or Cam, which is even less likely. Okay.
Cam.
I wore this because like I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to, but anyway, I'm thinking as far as the draft goes, there's plenty of young quarterbacks in there where we could get one at 15. Like there's chances that Fields falls to 15. I doubt it, but there's chances that he could fall to 15. Mac Jones could fall to 15.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, man, like either of them would be nice. I would love to get either of them as far as quarterbacks. And then another thing I was seeing is like another tight end and then it's all speculation. You don't know what they're gonna do, but Pat Freiermuth from Penn State. It's been speculation that he's like apparently like a huge like Gronk fan, like that. So like it's just like I said, it's just speculation. But it'd be nice to see. I've seen this dude in college for years now tearing it up. It would be nice to see a Patriots jersey. I would love that. But we need a quarterback to throw him the ball.
We got players, and that was the big question: if you're going to draft one, or maybe possibly look at one in free agency.
Exactly. Even that's another avenue. Like, was going to be a free agent quarterback that we signed, like a Matt Stafford or something like that.
Jimmy Garoppolo going back to
Jimmy Garoppolo because San Fran ended up with Deshaun Watson. Like, who knows? Who knows?
What if you guys end up with Deshaun Watson?
Don't
Bro, that would be
don't
wild.
even get me started. Next thing you know, this is a number 4. You know what I mean? Don't even get me started on that.
I'm done if the Patriots end up getting Deshaun Watson. I'm like, of fucking course. You guys end up winning somehow.
We're gonna end up having a lot of players that opted out coming back as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, they were all required to come back for a postseason physical, pretty much. And like they all came back, checked out, everything's all good, you know. But it was more or less the media got a chance to kind of talk to them, and they're talking about how they're excited to come back, stuff like that. There is speculation that Hightower and Marcus Cannon are not as likely to just come back because it's the next season.
Really?
So that's something to keep an eye on. Dante Hightower,
Interesting.
Marcus Cannon being huge veteran pieces of that defense. Or Marcus Cannon's offense. But anyway, I had something here about Mayo being linked to the Eagles, but we already covered that.
Yeah.
And then one last thing here is Bill Belichick is 69 years young. Okay, he's getting up there. He's going to be 69 in April apparently. So he's 68 right now, but before the next season he's going to be 69.
Okay.
There's how many more years does he have left, man?
I don't know, and you're looking at a rebuild. So I mean,
This is the thing. They're talking about, they had a list here of wins all time. He's currently third on the list of wins all time. Don Shula is in number one with 347. Then you have George Halas at 324, and then Bill at 311. So he's 2, 3, 4 seasons away from potentially.
maybe he hits that mark and then peace.
Then he's out. You know.
I did what
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just wanted to throw that out there. See what you thought about that.
That's an interesting stat. He's just gonna be like, I've accomplished all I can accomplish in the NFL now.
I've done it all.
I've
won
done it
so
all.
many Super Bowls.
Good luck
won so
trying to
many
beat me,
games.
suckers.
They're gonna have a statue of me. Just- and as far as the Lakers go, 11-4
Guys rolling,
is great right now. It's looking great.
walking on sunshine over there in LA.
Walking on sunshine in Lakers land. 7-0 on the road, the best start on the road in franchise history.
Franchise history.
In franchise history, the best start on the
Damn.
road, 7-0. You could have fooled me, but that's apparently
Crazy.
that's what I read today. It was the best start of franchise history. LeBron averaging 23, 7.9, 7.5, looking great right now. You know what I mean? Not MVP level, but looking great. AD 21, 9 rebounds, and damn near 2 blocks a game at 1.9. So like, and then at the same time you have Harrell and Schroeder both averaging up over 14 a game. So like LeBron was saying, either of them have a night off or like just a down night. You got other pieces there to pick it up. Kuzma was like the 5th. I think he's at 10 points a game right now. He's averaging. He's like 5th on our team as far as scoring. So
Jeez.
I think things are looking great. But barring any injuries, we're looking fine. Just keep it rolling. It's going to be a real test against Milwaukee coming up here, obviously. But other than that, keep it rolling.
Keep them rolling. That's what's up, man. I know your Lakers doing well. I commend you, them Lakers. I did have a bet on them last night. I'm glad I cashed out because
I'm glad you did too.
Glad you
I didn't
convinced me to
expect
do
that.
But I mean,
cash out.
on our end, on my end, the Flyers are doing well. They look really good. They do have an injury or two now. That was a little concerning, but they're kind of managing right now. They should be back to full health here soon. But I mean, it's the beginning of the season. Not much to talk about as far as that goes.
Right.
NBA Bulls, they're trying to get back on track, trying to get above 500. Zach LaVine, he's balling night in and night out. I am so impressed with him. Like, he had a dope windmill dunk last night, and it's like, this dude is like, he could be an all-star, man. And I'm so happy to see him on the Bulls, like a player like that on the Bulls.
Right.
We just kind of need better pieces to fill around him. You know, I mean, Kobe White, this is his second year. He's playing really great. The rookie, Patrick Williams, he's playing like outstanding for a rookie for us right now. Who else? Larry Markkinen, he just came back from being hurt, and he had a really good night the other night. But I mean, like Otto Porter, he's just like, he doesn't impress me really. Thaddeus Young, like a lot of people on the team. It's just like, I can see them being gone after this year, trying to find other players like Denzel Valentine. I'm not sold on him anymore. We need to move on from him. But I mean, I am very impressed with this Bull team as of right now. I know they're 6-8
start than I thought.
But this is the best. Even though they're 6-8, this is the best start we've had in the past 3 years. I saw that today. So I mean,
it's better than I thought they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad. I mean, the front office change and the head coaching change definitely looks like it's helped. They're not getting blown out anymore. They're pretty much in every single game that they're playing. So it just it just shows me that they can compete at a NBA level right now. They're able to put points up. So I mean, it gives me some hope. It makes me actually watch games now because I'm watching games again.
You're like, oh my God, it's exciting.
It's making me, it's exciting. It's letting me fall in love with basketball again. So it's kind of making me put more attention to NBA and basketball as a whole. On the other hand, the goddamn Philadelphia Eagles. We do have something to talk about other than the coaching job. There was a report that came out on Sunday, a full report from an Eagles insider. It seems like it's every week at this point. Every Sunday, I expect some sort of news to come, and it's not like Eagles haven't played a game in like 2 weeks, and this is happening. But a full report came out listing the issues between the organization and Carson Wentz, pretty much.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have been somewhat, I wouldn't say debunked, but they've been kind of proven that the article is kind of making something out of nothing a little bit. Like with the article.
But a lot of it's stuff that you heard throughout the season too.
Exactly. I'm not saying that all of it's completely false. There is a lot of truths in it. I'm just saying there's some stuff that is overblown.
Well, we don't even know if it's true.
Yeah.
We just know it. Like some of it seems consistent with what you heard.
Something that could be true. That's
right.
Like we have heard it before.
Right.
But from what some of the reports are saying, that it confirms that Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz did not get along that well. They did not work well together. Pretty much, it was a hit piece on Carson Wentz. this article, pretty much saying that Carson Wentz is not great to work with. He does not want to better himself. He's very tough to coach. He doesn't want to take accountability for his actions. Yeah. They're saying that he would purposely check out of plays that Doug Peterson would call on the line, which is hard to believe for me.
Yeah,
like he would just do that, like just because Doug calls the call. I can see if it's like if you read the defense and it's like if it's for a play that like. But I don't think he would just
him,
but I don't think he would just go out of his way despite Doug Peterson at that point. Especially, why would he risk his reputation and his career over that? That doesn't make sense. And I mean, they talked about how I do blame this on coaching too, that they weren't hard enough on him. Apparently, like he didn't want to take accountability for his actions when they were review game footage, and they're like, well, you should have thrown this way earlier, or you should have did this here. He would make excuses like, oh, look at the line here, it was folding, pretty much blaming the line. He just wasn't being accountable for his actions, which, hey, I definitely could agree with that. I mean, he was making the same mistakes. It was on him. But I mean, it doesn't make Howie Roseman look decent either. They're saying that like he has a huge picture of Carson Wentz on his wall in his office.
I know,
but
like a fat.
They released a picture of his office, and it's not even that big. It's literally a photo of him here with a quote, and then a big photo of Fletcher Cox on the other side. So it's not even just Wentz. So I mean, it's like they made it sound like it was just Wentz in his office, but it was like two big pictures of Wentz and Fletcher Cox, and then there was somebody else on the opposite wall. But I mean, I don't know, it was a little exaggerated. But I mean, it seems like at this point they chose Wentz over Doug. I guess Doug wanted to kind of go in a different direction. They didn't want to give up on Wentz right now. I mean, I agree with some of what the organization is doing, because I did not agree with Doug wanting to promote the coaches from within to be offensive coordinator, like Press Taylor, who was the quarterback coach for Wentz. He wanted him to become the offensive coordinator. And I was like, no way. Like, and even Jeffrey Lurie said, no way. Like, you have had no success with any of this offense, and you want to promote people from within? Not going to happen. No. And that was pretty much the last straw, because I guess Doug wanted more control. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Josh McDaniels could be the head coach as of right now. That's the
this could
talk.
Be updated by the time this even comes out. You know, we could have something else rolling.
Exactly.
As far as,
but I mean,
Eagles hire new coach.
That was the huge news over the week, was that big article that came out explaining the issues with Wentz and the organization, or issues with Doug either. But they were saying that there was teammates within the locker room that were telling Doug to put Hurts in way earlier, or whatever. And I was like, I don't know, that seems kind of fishy, but I don't know. It seems like the article has some truths and it has some like pretty like what you said, may not have been false, but it could have been exaggerated.
Super exaggerated,
super
right?
Exaggerated. But I don't know, man. I don't think Wentz is going anywhere. I think they're gonna roll with him. Whoever
That's still
comes
a work
in,
in progress right now.
And I'm kind of glad. I didn't want to see him leave as of right now. I just want to see him have another year. If he sucks, he sucks. Then you got to move on at that point. Sayonara. Go to the Colts or wherever.
Right. It just would have sucked to see him leave so soon. Like, I know it was a bad year, but I think it would have been a overreaction to get rid of Wentz.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, it seemed like he didn't fit what Doug wanted to do. So maybe they can bring somebody in that can play to Carson's strengths. They can work with him on his mechanics and
we'll see.
Be able to teach him. But I don't know, man. This is going to be an ongoing updating story through the offseason. Because I'm sure there's going to be other crazy news. But that's the only news I have.
This came out.
So that's the only two things that happened was the head coaching hires and interviews, and then this crazier story. And who knows, there could be some other crazy thing that happens Sunday before the games as well they're going to release.
Right.
Other than that, that's all I have. It's going to be pretty much basketball and hockey going forward unless there's something crazy.
And random sports stuff, whatever else you could throw in there.
Random sports stuff. But there is one thing left to do, and I did re-up. I got me a bunch of sports facts.
You got a new list?
I got a new list to roll down. I went through and got some more.
One.
You got one
for today.
Nice. One. So you know what time
it
is. Yep.
It's that time.
Crazy sports stat.
We need to make like a graphic that pops up on the screen
Crazy
every time.
Crazy.
Anyway, all right. So this is what I got. Okay. Devin McCourty, okay, since 2010 has the most defensive snaps at 10,921. Okay, most. Malcolm Jenkins is right behind him, 10,817. So it's like a little over 100, like 104. It looks like 104 more snaps. But like it's just crazy. Think about being on the field that much through 10 years. Like I just thought I saw that.
The past
and I just
3 or 4 seasons that he was with the Eagles, I don't think he missed a snap. I don't think he
didn't.
Was hurt.
He played 100% of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't miss a damn snap. Like he was.
Exactly.
I loved Malcolm Jenkins on the Eagles. I was very upset whenever they decided to part ways. I was mad at Howie for that one. So I bought a Malcolm Jenkins jersey. Yeah, that's how much
I have a Devin McCourty.
Exactly.
Like, that's
so
like it was like two great players on each of our teams there, and they're 1 and 2 since 2010.
Stat. I like that one. Nice. I'll give you this one. Brad Johnson and Marcus Mariota are the only 2 QBs in the NFL to throw a touchdown to themselves.
Yeah. See, I feel I was
happened
like
in similar fashion. They threw it. It got tipped or it bounced off of someone. They caught it and ran it right in.
I remember Marcus Mariota's very vividly. I can't picture Brad Johnson's, but I remember Marcus Mariota's.
Yeah, Brad Johnson. I think that was when he was playing for the Minnesota Vikings. I looked up the clip earlier when I looked up the stat. But he was playing for the Vikings at the time, and it pretty much happened the same way as Marcus Mariota's.
He's just
that was one I kind of ran across. I found the other ones I had like going through like lists. But this one, I kind of ran across a video of like Marcus Mariota's like he caught his own touchdown. I was like, I wonder who else has done this in NFL. It was like one other person,
just
apparently
one other person. That's
Johnson.
Very surprising.
Yeah, so I mean that's the sports stat. That's the podcast. We had a lot of news, man. We covered a lot, man. I mean, it may not seem like we covered a lot, but we've been going this well over an hour now. So
hour and 20
fast. So make sure to like and subscribe. Got a lot. I'm excited for Super Bowl week. Hopefully we can get the live stream rolling for Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know if we're allowed to call it the Super Bowl or we'll have to call it the big game. I don't know if we'll get taken down for some shit like that. But we'll figure the logistics of that out and let everybody know because we're trying to do some sort of live stream for the game.
I
We
forgot
can watch
about
along
that.
with us.
We'll figure that out.
Well, we'll figure all that out, and we'll let everybody know. But until then, make sure to like and subscribe. Go on Twitter, follow us on Twitter at SquadPod Sports. We've been racking up some followers on there, man, and I'm very appreciative of everybody that followed. We went from
Absolutely.
like 41 followers. I think we're up to 180 right now. We're at 187, and I want to thank every single one of you. I thanked them on Twitter as well. We really
Need you
appreciate it.
guys to subscribe.
Come to YouTube and please subscribe to the page. It would really help us out. And check out the regular Squad Pod podcast as well. We got a lot of crazy stuff we talk about on there that's not sports related. We talk about all kinds of crazy shit each week. I love it.
All types of stuff.
And then we have squad nights on Monday nights. You can find us on Twitch when we're streaming on that. It's me and Evan usually that are streaming on there. But I mean, yeah, man. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week leading up to the
Peace.
Super Bowl.